Good morning and welcome to Atn Saturday. Atn Saturday is a syndicated live program of the network featuring conversations and in-depth analysis of trending political news, events and stories with stakeholders. Through these conversations, Atn uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Atn Saturday, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers State. APC rejects Congress, accuses Okocha of disobeying judgment. Still on Rivers State, this time around, local government arson. Panel of inquiry summons Wike Okocha. PDP lawyers clash over case against pro-Wike lawmakers. And then on to Underguba. INEC removes Ebiseni, names Festus, Labour Party candidate. And then on to judiciary. NJC suspends Rivers judge, others over judicial misconduct. Supreme Court declines to declare EFCC illegal. And on politics, I am not scared of defecting to APC, Wike says. And then Wike's aide counters Falana over judge's house's comment. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
from the lands across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they want.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
From life across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history,
We are one people, all of us.
leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they want.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Atn Saturday this morning is Emi Ferraga. Emi Ferraga is a political analyst and a regular on our show. Good morning, Emi, and welcome.
Good morning, Laurentians, and good morning, viewer.
I also have with me Olori Godwin. Olori Godwin is a political analyst, an executive member of the APC LMA local government. Good morning, Godwin, and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
And on to the story. All Progressive Congress Rivers State Chapter has accused the caretaker committee chairman of the party in the state of deliberately flouting the rule of law. In a statement issued on Friday by the state publicity secretary, Darlington Uju, the APC claimed that Okocha and his paymasters are engaging in the same actions they have previously accused others of. He said, Tony Okocha is trampling on the rule of law and he knows it. The very same thing both he and his paymaster have been shouting against others is what they have been doing, dancing naked. The worry is not just that we all can see liars masquerading as Democrats, but it is worse because these liars are also hypocrites. Despite a ruling by the Rivers State High Court, Okocha has continued to present himself as the CTC chairman of the party. Justice Sika Aprioku, in a ruling in a suit filed by Sam Etetewong, Banath Ezamonye, Ezekiel Obom, and others on behalf of the democratically elected APC executive in the state, reinstated executives led by Emeka Beke as the legitimate leadership of the party in Rivers State. The court issued a perpetual injunction against the Okocha-led caretaker committee, prohibiting them from interfering with the Beke-led executive until the end of their 4-year term. ATN reports that the Okocha-led APC has begun preparations for state, local government and ward congresses in the state, scheduled to start on Saturday, November 16, 2024. In response to the Okocha-led APC's preparation for the congresses, Muju pointed out that Okocha has filed an appeal against the court ruling that dissolved the caretaker committee in the state. The statement further suggested that Okocha's actions indicate either a lack of confidence in the judiciary or an overconfidence in the outcome of the appeal. Muju reflected on the party's actions in 2018 when he defied a court order saying, this the same APC in Rivers State in 2018 went ahead against the order of the court to conduct a congress, and the consequences became fatal in 2019 when a party with government at the center could not field candidates at all levels in the state for the first time in the history of democracy in Nigeria. Good students of history choose to learn from the past rather than allow history to repeat itself. Wuju stated that participating in the Congress planned by Okocha will amount to spitting on the judgment of Justice Sika. The forthcoming Congresses.
Well, you are aware that I am the APC LMA AGA organizing secretary under the leadership of Chief Emeka Beke at the state.
Aware. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here, and it gives me concerns when the party at the national is actually fueling this crisis in APC Rivers State, because I know they've got some interest to protect, and it doesn't really tell well for the party. Rivers State APC has been characterized with so much crisis, and this crisis are being fueled by just one man and aided by the itself, but from the judiciary is being selective. On one breath, the Tony Okocha and his likes are accusing Governor Fubara for disobeying court ruling, their conspiratorial court ruling and judgments. In another breath, they are at the same time flouting, showing flagrant disobedience to rule of law. a court of competent jurisdiction has actually pronounced or ruled that Emeka Beke is the legitimate and lawfully recognized party chairman in Rivers State APC. There is no judgment against that. It appears not be entertained or served against on that. And Tony Okocha, whom was the purported caretaker chairman before he was ousted, is now parading, is still parading himself and still going ahead to conducting what congresses and state congresses. The question now is, who is aiding him? Who support is he actually operating on all these activities? Because if a court has removed, has sacked you, you have no right, you have no legal or legitimacy to begin to take these actions. So I think it's not about Tony Okocha alone. There are unforeseen hands, and Rivers people know those people know the characters behind all these actions. So I think the national itself should be fair to APC Rivers State under the leadership of Emeka Beke and do the needful. There is no need supporting illegitimacy. It's uninspiring to begin to encourage illegality in the name of political interest. We know whose interests they are protecting, but I can tell you the Emeka Beke administration does not elapse until October next year. And whatever is the case, we are going to see it to the end, because until our tenure elapses next October, we remain the authentic, legitimate and lawful APC party structure in Rivers State from the ward to the state level. Right. Unless the appeal court says otherwise. All right.
I'll still come back to some of the concerns that you have raised, but before I get to you on that, Emmy, what do you have to say to this story?
Actually, if there is one matter I would have loved to stay away, far away from is this one.
Okay, why?
I would have involved myself in it. I say, when matured men should behave like matured men, and when we have a constitution, I believe that everybody is expected to subject their actions to the rule of the law. That is the reason why you have peace in a society. But if you want to create a state of disharmony, you go against what you are even trying to project, and it's very irritating. Anyways, let's come back to the issue. If there are refined politicians to be mentioned in Rivers State today, I think Dalit Iwoju is one of them that I can vouch for, that this one is a refined politician in the state. And he's one of those politicians I believe that can ever call me and say, Emmy, I want to see you. I will not hesitate. I will go and talk and see him, because of the way he has positioned himself, in terms of politicking. That is by the way. Now, coming to the issue at hand, we are talking about a party that is registered under the laws of the Federal Republic, and the party registered itself as one entity, not as a fragmented bodies that try, to run for an election. So if you know APC as APC, it therefore means that there is one APC. APC might just have branches. That does not mean that we now have Rivers State APC, Delta State APC, this APC when it comes to the law. In the eyes of the law, APC is APC. And the constitution of the party set up organs and assign the responsibilities and how those responsibilities should be carried out. Everything is enshrined in their own constitution. And by precedent, we have several judicial decisions, including the one of Supreme Court, that try to explain to Nigerians that there are issues that are tagged as party affairs. And those party affairs or events remains party decisions. Whatever the party does, that is their affairs. And the court is not expected to intervene or to alter whatever decision the party, is trying, to undertake, except there is issue of a contradiction with the provision of the 1999 Constitution. That is where the court comes in. So what am I trying to say here in essence? You see, the issue of we are the legitimate, authentic, or whatever recognized party structure in the state. We are not the legitimate recognized party structure. For me, it's just a kind of political brouhaha that people are just engaged in. What do I mean? If the party has a national working committee, the party has NEC, and the party say the highest decision making of the party structure has to do with these people, these people, these people, and the constitution of the party then assigned the power to conduct certain actions. I think it is expected that when you are joining a political party, one thing that should come to your mind first is that the party has an interest. And the interest of the party, I believe, is to win election and form government, or to remain in power, even in perpetuity. So if you are to join such an organization, it's expected that you now subject your own personal interests into the general interest. If you are to pursue your interest, you must pursue that your interest within the caprices of the general interest. But if you're trying to project your interest above the general interest of party, I think the party will find a way, to try to tame you in order for them to remain in existence. From what you read, I heard that the Rivers State High Court grant an order in perpetuity, right?
Yes, perpetual injunction.
Yes, restraining the party, the APC, from
Tony
interfering Okocha, or whatever, Tony Okocha. If you are restraining Tony Okocha, you are not restraining the party now. Or are you saying APC should no longer exist in Rivers State? If the court injunction didn't restrain APC from existing, it means APC must find a way to exist. They are not saying in Rivers State there should be no APC again. But in Rivers State, by the ritual that we are known for, that the time comes where we conduct our congresses for us to usher in new ESCOs and all that, I don't think there is a court that can stop it. I don't think there is a court that can stop, because it's primarily the decision of the party to so conduct their affairs in the manner they deem it is right for them, in order for them to remain in politics. So, for me, I just want to say that both parties should define their political interests and find a way to play themselves into the mainstreams of politics, because you can't exist without the national party. Without the national APC, you can't exist. In fact, the APC can even remove you. I remember at a time, even in this River State, is it Amakri? With all due respect to him, I think I remember at the time, the APC at the national removed them now. Heaven did it fall, because it's a decision of the party, and they went home.
All right.
Let us have people who understand the politics in place. I think it will be better for both of them.
All right. Amy, you also raised some salient points that I want to marry both together and then ask Olori a question. You said that in the first instance, the perpetual injunction was against Tony Okocha caretaker-led committee, not against the APC National Working Committee. It wasn't against the APC NEC. Now, in this instance, is it Tony Okocha, or Lauren, this question is to you, is it Tony Okocha that is organizing these state congresses, or the APC National that's organizing the state congresses?
Well, congresses are being done by the national.
All right.
The national. And we are aware that the national will not do these congresses in a vacuum. It has to work with the state structure.
All right.
So much such that if there is no existing structure to help the national conduct its affairs in the state, then the national cannot do that. So the national must have a structure on ground to work with, either outgoing to help incoming, right? So now the condition is that who on ground is the legitimate structure to work with.
What state structure is the National Working Committee working with?
That is my point.
And your argument is that the state recognized the Mecca Beke as a legitimate state structure.
That is not Tony Okocha. So the national, if there must be any congresses, but in any case, you don't approbate and reprobate. Like the national, the constitution spells out a particular tenor for every organ, for every structure, right? So I just told you earlier that our own tenor, because I'm the AG executive, our tenor from ward to AG to state would not elapse until next year, October. So how come we want to conduct another congresses
when your tenure
has not elapsed?
Expired?
My tenure has not expired. I want to come and conduct congresses must wait till next year. However, even after that next year, this national will only come to the state to conduct and work with our own structure, such that we will be those to usher in new executives as national will oversee, and not the illegitimate or unlawful, illegal Tony Okocha-led fashion, which has already been known by the court.
All right. Now, there are two issues now on ground, two structures. One, it's authenticated by the court. The other one derives its powers from the National Working Committee. That's the reality. Because you recall, Olorun, that after the judgment by the court reinstating Emeka Beke,
Okay.
the National Working Committee, APC National, came out to say that they do not recognize that court judgment. And they also said that they were not party to that suit. That it was Ganduje as a person and the APC National Secretary as an individual. APC National was not a respondent in that matter. So Ganduje, was a respondent in his capacity as an individual and not in his capacity as APC National Chairman. So they said that the injunction, whatever decision the court made, the restrictions was not on APC as a body. Now, they went ahead to say that they recognize Tony Okocha as the caretaker committee chairman of Rivers State. And you recall, Olorun, that at the expiration of the 6 months of Tony Okocha, they reinstated him again. You are aware of that, yes? They reinstated him again. So now there are two issues on ground. Married to the concern Emi raised when he said that the party has its constitution and that Supreme Court already, there is a precedent already where the Supreme Court says that the court cannot meddle into party affairs. But then, so far, the court has been addressing issues related to parties and it has been obeyed. So I want you to address that before I come back to Amy to ask Amy the same question. Amy, I also want you to address this as well. Go ahead.
First and foremost, why do you have the judiciary in the country? Now, you are saying that the party doesn't want to obey the court ruling. Isn't that unthinkable to even say? Now, you talk about Ganduje. Who is Ganduje? Ganduje is the national party chairman of APC.
Was APC a respondent or Ganduje a respondent?
I just told you. APC is not a vehicle without people.
Now, you see, the thing is the technicality.
Are you with me?
Listen.
Who is APC?
There is a difference.
I'm an APC member. Listen, I'm an APC member, right?
Go ahead.
Okay. What is party without members? Could there be a party without membership, without members? Can any party be a vacuum? Because in the first place, the party is inanimate. It is human beings that come together to form a party. So without the people, there's no party. Do you understand? So trying to bring the irrational logic of saying that Ganduje in his capacity and Ganduje as a party chairman, does it relate?
All right.
Who is Ganduje? Ganduje is APC National Party Chairman. So who would have acted in his stead?
Olorun, now listen. When you say it's irrational, cases are won and lost on the technicalities you call irrational. Cases are won and lost on those technicalities. Now, let me use you as an example.
Okay.
Someone has a case against APC, LMA local government. And now, instead of the person suing APC, LMA local government, or making APC, LMA local government a respondent in the matter, the person brings Olorun Godwin as a respondent and then brings the name of your chairman as a respondent and not APC, LMA local government. If I may ask you another question, have you seen court cases or litigations where Nigerian police, the MPF, is a respondent? Have you seen a situation where probably an institution has an issue with someone,
okay,
and the person sues the institution, but it was someone in the institution that caused bodily harm or whatever to that person, or that made that person aggrieved so much to go to court. Have you seen a situation where the person sues the institution? When you take an institution to court, it's different from when you take an individual to court.
The suit filed by Emeka Beke. Are you telling me that APC wasn't a respondent in the matter?
I just told you APC National's response when they said they will not recognize Emeka Beke's
because
action.
They are not.
So I would like you to address that. Okay, you said their response was irrational.
I'm asking you now that the suit filed. Have you read the suit file? Have you seen the copy of the suit that APC wasn't a respondent?
Well, you should be the one answering because I've already asked you.
I just told you that what they are saying is unfounded.
Oh,
yes, it's unfounded because they are part of the suit. They are part of the suit, so it's unfounded. Unless you're telling me that those who fight the case from the Emeka Beke,
apparently they are part of the suit, and interestingly, if they are part of the suit, how come? Because this is another technicality. Though Tony Okocha has appealed the matter, but if they are part of the suit, how come the court gave perpetual injunction only to Tony Okocha-led caretaker committee not to interfere with Emeka Beke? Now, because the argument that the APC National will present will be that no injunction was given to them, so they are at liberty to hold congresses. You could talk about Emeka Beke, and Emeka Okocha now will argue that he's simply obeying the order of the National Working Committee. He is not in any way interfering with Emeka Beke. Because in this instance, the National Working Committee has chosen to work with Tony Okocha caretaker committee. How do you relate? Are you understanding the technicality and how it can affect decisions and actions moving forward?
Like I've said earlier, certain bodies or interests or personalities have actually constituted themselves into a lawless people, lawless personalities, in the sense that we are aware of several cases of disregard or disobedience to court rulings. So if the APC National have chosen to go the other way against the side of the law, there's no problems. Recall what you said, that this same thing happened 2018
that affected
APC in the state. So there's no problem. Let's continue in that way. Let's continue. Right. The Supreme Court has said that you can't build something on nothing, right? So let's see how it goes. If the party wants to toe the path of illegality or legitimacy, let's see how it goes. The same party, National, was there when it couldn't. The party in the state couldn't field candidates for a whole general election, from state assemblies to National House of Reps to Senate to governor. So it's okay if you can't learn from what you have said. If you don't learn from history, then you have yourself to be blamed.
Right, Emmy, what do you have to say to the concern raised by Olorin Godwin when he talked about the national organizing Congress without liaising with the Emeka Beke executives in Rivers?
Here is my friend. He knows. So anything that has to do with his own interest, I should be backing him up and all that. But I tell you, there are certain issues that we want to, speak the truth to, for the sake of national interest and for tranquility in the society. We are talking about APC as a party, and we are talking about the powers of the National Working Committee. The question that we want to ask that is very simple is that, does the National Working Committee of APC has the power to dissolve a state ESCO?
Do they have the power to dissolve the state ESCO?
If they answer, I don't even expect him to answer. Anyways. If they have the power to dissolve, it means they are still within the bounds of the law. But some people are arguing, like along with my friend here, is arguing that their tenure has a lifespan and it has not elapsed. So they will want to serve until October next year. But the party is not saying that we are a vehicle. We want to move. We want to win elections. We want to have a harmonious party structure in Rivers State. And by conduct of congresses, it is not the states that organize the congresses, but rather it is supervised, planned, organized, funded, whatever, by the national. So the national set up a kind of a branch. Come, be our idea. Do this for us. This is what we want you to do. So the structure at the state level, the local government, they are like messengers. Messengers employed to perform certain functions on behalf of the main body. So I think for, like I said earlier, the APC, these things can be resolved politically. There is always political solution to this. But if we have so much ego, and we display that ego politically to an extent, it actually, takes us away from the mainstream of politics, and we will lament, we should not definitely help. Mekai Bekeka, actually, I expected them to approach the National Working Committee since and begins to, play their politics, lobby the way they want to lobby, because even the National Working Committee of APC has a grouse against them. They are saying a court have sacked you before now. Did you? I was coming to that. A court has sacked you before now. Were you patient enough to exhaust the processes of the court that you people went through, rather than coming to the party and face the organs of the party that are constituted to look at issues that has to do with the party? But you people went to court. A court has sacked you before now. So why didn't you wait for the decision of the appeal court that you went to and all that before you went to a high court again to seek another coverage? So these are some of these issues. Like I said earlier, I never really, in fact, for me, I didn't really wanted to contribute to this matter. But although we got me, my friend, and all that, people should just put yourself together and play the politics. This thing has to do, there is political solution to this. You want to serve the party, fine. Play the politics for the party to repose their interest in you and their trust in you, and give you the responsibility to serve. But if we say, okay, we want to fight the party, I don't think the state chapter can win.
Emmy, you just preempted this angle of this conversation. I actually didn't really want to delve into, but since you brought it up, I will now ask you questions, Olori Gordon. You recall that after your election in 2021, the election of Emeka Beke faction in 2021, the State Working Committee became factionalized. And the State Working Committee is made up of 17 members, correct? 17?
No, we are around 26.
I'm aware that it's 17.
No, that's PDP is 17.
However,
I think
APC is 17. Go and do your maths.
The State Working Committee.
SWC.
Okay, State Working Committee.
Yes.
The structure is the same now.
It's 17. That's what I'm saying. Now, out of that 17, 12 fell out with Emeka Beke as the chairman. Emeka Beke had on his side, I think, the state's legal advisor and 2 others or thereabout. But the majority, there was division. That have divided to PDP. Hold on. We have all those.
Okay, no problem.
There was division in the State Working Committee, which actually ended up in litigation. And it was that litigation that removed Emeka Beke, that sacked Emeka Beke. The court sacked Emeka Beke as the Emeka Beke-led executives, as executives of APC Rivers State. Emeka Beke went on appeal. Now, the question would be, if Emeka Beke went on appeal, why start the same matter at a lower court when the appeal court matter has not been, when that matter itself has not been fully exhausted at all levels of appeal?
Like I said before.
So now, if that is the case, which brings me to the second question, if that is the case, which judgment takes preeminence?
Like I've said,
because in order of judgments, they would always say, go with the first judgment.
But political interests and the activities of politics and politicians with the judiciary has been so characterized with too many irregularities. And some particular interests or particular tendencies are tilted towards towards pleasing certain powers or interests who have a superior influence over circumstances or situations. And as such, the issues on ground cannot be separated from vested interests who wants their way, who wants to have their way. Recall that there were issues, even those who indicated that matter then already defected to PDP. We have documents, we have everything, the graphics, we have everything to support these claims. One particular one, I will say it, is I think the assistant state secretary, I think from my local government, Honorable Frederick Oyo. He is the state ESCO from Elime Eji. So he already defected to PDP. We have dates to back this up. Now the same person who defected to PDP will come again to begin to institute the matter and sign a petition against the chairman. How does it add? Does it add up? Do you understand? So it was even faulty. That was what we contested. It was even faulty. But whatever is the case, we've gone past that phase. The reality now is that Chief Emeka Beke is the party chairman of APC.
Right. Now,
so I just want to come in there, please.
All right, go ahead.
The issue we are debating here is very simple. A matter instituted before a court of competent jurisdiction. The matter is still lying fallow before the court. Has that matter been discontinued or withdrew from the court that stipulates that these people are no longer our members and therefore we are discontinuing the matter? The answer is no. If the matter is still pending before the court, whether in terms of appeal, in whatever form, it means that the matter is still in the court until it is discontinued by the litigant or the interested parties. So even the party, when Loresha was talking about technical the other time, I wanted to smile, but I said, let me hold myself because this is my friend.
Nobody says you not smile. It's your right to smile.
Let me hold myself.
It is your right to smile. Nobody say.
The party at the national level can still hold on to this as one of a blow to knock off the Emeka Beke-led ESCO or the faction of the APC in Rivers State by telling you that we have a court information that there is a litigation before an appeal that has to do with us. Because we say, oh, the APC is the APC. They are the father to the structure at the state level. So whatever decision that is going to affect the APC decisions. So if they show you that they have a document to say that there is a litigation before the court on an appeal level, and that matter has not been dispensed with, it still stands valid until it is discontinued. So I recommended earlier that they should find a political solution to all of this. If you want to serve in the APC, you want to remain in the APC, this is a party affair. There is a common language, there is a family matter. So they can just make it a family matter and ensure that there is peace. Who want to serve can serve, who don't want to serve, so you can go. After there is still room for people to procure form and still run again for same position. All
right, Godwin, before we move over to the next story, when you were rounding up your statement, you said that as it stands today, that Emeka Beke is the authentic chairman of APC in Rivers State.
Yes.
Now, when we are now looking at the litigations around the authenticity of Emeka Beke's chairmanship, there are conflicting judgments as it stands, yes? The first judgment sacked Emeka Beke by the Court of Competent Jurisdiction in this instance, sacked Emeka Beke-led executives. Now, Emeka Beke appealed, and that judgment has not been given on that appeal, and neither of the parties so far could come out to say this matter has been withdrawn. Then Emeka Beke now instituted, he appealed the judgment that sacked him, then instituted another matter at a sister court that had given earlier judgments. That is conflicting, and this one now reinstated him. That's conflicting judgment, is it not?
It's an abuse of court.
Hold on. It's conflicting judgment, is it not? Now, if there are conflicting judgments, which judgments are we to follow? And these judgments are given by courts of competent jurisdiction. Which judgments are we to follow? According to the law, they would always say the first. You understand? So now, what do you advise moving forward? And secondly, well, go ahead.
I've told you, as I speak right now, the issue of Emeka Bekele legitimacy is not under dispute, because even if Tonukocha has appealed or had appealed the recent ruling in favor of Emeka Bekele, the matter hasn't been dispensed with you. In fact, the matter hasn't even been entertained.
Has the first judgment been dispensed with? Is it not still subsisting?
So we have.
Was that first judgment vacated by Emeka Bekele?
Well, it hasn't been vacated.
So which
but I'm sure the both courts are courts of coordinate jurisdiction. So I think no one supersedes the other.
This is where the APC national can
no one supersedes the other.
Right.
In the first place, even the national chairman Ganduje is also an embattled national chairman, because he has issues. So there are issues everywhere. There are issues everywhere.
Godwin, don't deflect.
There are issues everywhere.
You can't deflect on my show. Let's focus on the
There are issues everywhere.
You have said that the first judgment.
There are issues everywhere.
Hold on. You said the first judgment has not been vacated. That is still subsisting, which means it's binding and it has life. And no other higher court has given a contrary judgment, vacating
Same is this second one too.
Vacating it.
Same is this second one.
However, there are two conflicting judgments. It appears that Rivers people seem to have forgotten that there was a judgment. So my show is to entertain people and to also inform and educate people. There are two judgments, and one came earlier. The one that came earlier sacked Emeka Bekele. The one that came later reinstated Emeka Bekele. And now there are two appeals now. The first appeal was by Emeka Bekele, appealing the judgment that sacked him in the first instance. And now Tony Okocha has appealed the judgment of the later judgment that reinstated Emeka Bekele. Yeah. So at this instance, if the National Working Committee chooses to go with the first judgment, would you fault the National Working Committee?
Well, like I said earlier, the National Working Committee is actually shrouded in too many controversies.
You're not answering the question.
Because even the legitimacy
You're not answering
the National Party chairman is questionable. So he who comes to equity must come with clear hands.
Godwin,
he who comes to equity must come with Godwin. He who comes to equity must come with clear hands.
You're deflecting.
I just told you.
You are deflecting.
The national party chairman has issues, has cases right from his ward.
That's not
so. It's embattled. So I think.
Let me still bring it to your notice again. Let me remind you again. Look at the story. It says APC rejects Congress accuses Okocha of disobeying judgment. Nowhere in the story is Kanduje mentioned. Nowhere.
Who is conducting the Congresses? Who is conducting the Congresses?
APC National, not Kanduje. Now that's the same mistake that was made in the litigation. That's the technicality we are talking about.
And I ask you this thing: are you telling me APC was not actually responding?
Godwin, don't deflect. I will not let you do that. Now the question is, if there are two judgments, the first one sacked Emeka Bekele faction, the Emeka Bekele-led executive, and it was appealed by Emeka Bekele, and that particular judgment has not been vacated. It's still subsisting, and Emeka Bekele went to another court of competent jurisdiction with the first court that gave judgment that sacked him to get another judgment. Now, there are two conflicting judgments. If the National Working Committee chooses to go with the first judgment, will you fault them?
They could also choose to go with the second judgment.
I asked you a question.
If they choose the first judgment, I think it is because they are serving a particular interest.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, very well. Let me ask we round up. I'll ask you exactly the same question I asked Olori Godwin. Since there are two conflicting judgments, and so far they've not been vacated, if the National Working Committee choose to go with the first judgment, can they be faulted?
Aristotle will always stand in between issues. when the thing becomes so critical. APC, like I said, is one body. And there is a court notification brought to them that what they did in Rivers State was annulled, and the person sacked. They have that document lying before them. The person appealed, and the person went to a court of coordinate jurisdiction to seek a confirmation or an affirmation of his own position again, that he is the authentic chairman, as against the decision of the national party, which is the APC. Like Olonwo will say that, yes, there is an interest, they are serving certain interest. Certainly the party has an interest. That interest is for it to continue to thrive and win elections. So they will make it their plans to that effect. And if they see that they will need to ask somebody and plant other people for them to win elections in that state, they will do. That is an interest that the party is trying to serve. So it is expected that Emeka Ibeke, with all due respect, knowing all this, should have employed a political solution in this matter, and not by trying to fight the party, because the party may take a stand and say we have two decisions and we can't stop to exist in Rivers State. So we must continue to exist while we await the decisions or judgment from the courts. And they will continue. Okay, Emeka Ibeke, you are stepping aside. Tony Okocha, you are stepping aside. We are conducting a fresh Congress to usher in new ESCO. Both of you can go and be fighting yourself while we are building our party, for party to continue to run in Rivers State. I think it's not out of place if the party chooses that format.
All right. Rivers State Judicial Commission of Inquiry, set up to investigate the destruction of some local government secretariats, had summoned the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The commission asked Wike, the immediate past governor of the state, to appear before it on Monday 19, 2024. The summons was contained in an advertorial by the commission titled Summons under Sections 7 and 8 of the Rivers State Commission of Inquiry Law, Cap 30, dated November 12, but released on Thursday. It was signed by the chairman of the panel, Justice I.R. Minakiri, and obtained by our correspondent. The document read, pursuant to the call and receipt of memoranda by the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into the arson, killings, and wanton destruction of property at some local government council headquarters in Rivers State, a very pertinent message conveyed to the public by direct statement and in songs by persons in a video clip posted on the internet, downloaded and submitted by the Emoha Local Government Council, concerning Your Excellency Nyesom Wike, former governor of Rivers State and current minister of the Federal Capital Territory, places a demand on the commission to respectfully call Your Excellency for reaction before the commission. A copy of this summons has been sent to Your Excellency along with the said video clip by courier service for Your Excellency's ease of listening and necessary reaction. By the invitation, Your Excellency's reaction is expected before the Commission on 19th November 2024, time 11 a.m., venue Block C, Court 15, Rivers State High Court Complex, Port Harcourt. Please take note that the Commission will conclude sitting on the 21st November 2024. Also summoned to appear before the panel was the chairman of the All Progressive Congress Caretaker Committee in Rivers State, Chief Tony Okocha, who is also an ally of the FCT minister. Others were the former chairman of Ikwere Local Government Area, Dr. Samuel Wanosike, the former local government chairman of Eleme Ahoda West, Obiakpo Local Government Areas, Obari Lomate Olo, Hope Ikriko, and George Ariolu, respectively, who are all expected to appear before the commission on November 18, a day before Wike's appearance. ATN recalls that aside from Wike and Okocha, who are the latest additions, the Commission on October 28, 2024 summoned 109 persons across local government areas where post-election violence was recorded to appear before it in connection with the disturbances. Emmy, what do you make of this story?
I'm an advocate of if you do, you should be called to account for those your doings. If we must have a working state, everybody must ensure that our actions complies with the rule of the game. What is the rule of the game? The rule of the game are the operating laws of the land, the gronom, and those laws that are made in line with the provisions of the gronom at the state level. A panel of inquiry, I think, is just like an advisory body who is trying to find out certain fact with regard to certain issues. A panel of inquiry is not a court. A panel of inquiry does not have that prosecutorial powers to prosecute somebody. It's just maybe whatever they do, the outcome will be a kind of a recommendation made to the person who set it up. In this case, maybe the state government. But however, in trying to make sure that people pay for their doings, it should also be in line with goodwill. It should not be something of vendetta or pose the position of I must bring you down or humiliate you. I don't support such an action. From the list that are posted here, and critically, if you sway the panel of inquiry, you will know it's a committee that is set up for a political drive, and it is bent on achieving that political drive to satisfy certain nefarious and self-centered political quests. And I will not support such an event. You summon Yeso Wike. I don't have anything with Yeso Wike, with all due respect. I have not met him one-on-one before. I don't have any pally with him. In fact, I remember in this state, Rivers State, several times people were pursuing me. Some people were even asking me to leave the state because I was criticizing his administration. So what am I trying to say here is this. You are summoning the man to come and give his own account or testimony on allegation of arson, isn't it? That he did what? That he did what? That property were burnt. So, you know, so strong in the northern part of Nigeria. I remember that the Boko Haram named 30 persons to speak on their behalf. Prominent names in this country, likes of Wallace Oyenka, likes of, you know, some other person. Does it mean that those names are mentioned are members of Boko Haram? I remember when the issue of militancy was taking prominence in the Niger Delta, when they were calling for a talk or whatever. Some of them named Chief Pa Ike Clark as a man to represent them in the discussion. Doesn't mean that Chief Pa Ike Clark is the sponsor of militancy in the Niger Delta. So today, if I went on the road, I begin to shout, hey, Governor Simfubara, and I engage in wanton destruction of public property or assets. So it means that Governor Simfubara that sent me. People can become mischievous. People who want to do something, I just want to maybe lambast somebody or dent somebody's image. That is not enough evidence to prove that this name was mentioned. Have we not seen people? Some people go to places to commit a crime and they shout Allah Akbar. Doesn't mean that it's Quran or Prophet Muhammad or the Islamic faith that are encouraging them to go and do that. Have we seen people who are shouting in the name of Jesus Christ and they are duping people in the market, cheating people? Does it mean that Christ sanctioned them to go and do people and cheat people in the market? So people can become mischievous. If you must do anything, come with tonics like that. We remember Oputa panel. It was issues like this that actually make Oputa panel to become a watery event. Now you just felt that this is it, and you set up certain persons on a political mission to go and, you know, carry out your vendetta moves. And at the end of the day, the good idea of the whole thing became a very watery event that Nigeria has even regretted spending their money in such an event. It's the same thing here. panel of inquiry. You can't action anybody. Just say you compel people to come and testify before you because it's not a court. You summon. The person has right to say, I will come, I may not come. You go to court and say, I enforce that your right.
All right, very well. Laurie Godwin, what do you have to say to this story?
Well, my heart beats and I'm saddened in the very pathetic situation we had on our hand on the 7th of October 2024, because after the conduct of the council polls on October 5th, the elected chairmen were actually sworn in on October 6th, and they were supposed to go take over their respective council secretariats October 7th. You recall that after the governor sworn in the chairman, he asked them to immediately hit the ground running by going to work the following day, which was Monday. I was part of the delegation that went to the Element Local Government Secretariat on that fateful day. And I can tell you what I saw, the wanton and malicious destruction of this element I'm talking about now, of our common wealth, of our landmark edifice. Eleme Local Government Secretariat was razed by fire. It was a very clear case of arson. And we have concrete facts. We have evidence of those who actually perpetrated that such dastardly act. You know, it's pained me that if a faction or people have disagreement politically, that they could go all the way to destroy what collectively belongs to all of us. Because at the end of the day, the money that we use in building new secretariat is the money from the secretariat, Element Council Secretariat. It's Element Council allocation, which ought to have served for development of the people. And I want to correct something, an impression that Mike being summoned, and he is saying that Mike is not guilty or is not culpable because he wasn't caught on the spot, or he did not, or he feels that he has nothing to do with those people that caused those destruction. I want to tell him that in River State, there are societal eyes. Nothing is really hidden under the earth, under the sun. Because Eleme, as a case study, we are aware that those who caused such destruction were those who ordinarily belong to the Nyesom Wike's political divide. And prior to such destruction, such silly acts, there were meetings, there were threats that were covered. It went viral. They threatened, even in their protests. In fact, they acted like they had the judiciary, they had the police, they had Nigeria in their hands, so they could do anything and go scot-free. And nobody would tell me that.
Could you recall one of the protests that the people you're talking about had that was violent? Can you recall one? Where it happened?
Yes.
What day did it happen?
On the street of Port Harcourt.
Where?
They protested against the elections first.
Was there violence?
There was times when these people these boys were attacking and looting shops, attacking innocent, helpless, defenseless market women, and shouting, no Obarelomate, no Eleme, no Wike, no River State. Are you with me?
Can you substantiate
and
that?
I'm telling you, because there are videos. I have them in my phone.
Where they were looting?
Yes.
I'd love to
and I have videos of boys, Chief Obarelomate, whose name was actually mentioned, who was actually summoned by the panel. I have the videos, live videos. They are not Photoshop. They are.
If I may ask.
So I'm coming.
The former local government chairman that is being summoned, Was he in the country when all these incidents happened?
I'm not his family member. I'm not his friend.
He was not.
And I wouldn't know.
Not even in the
I wouldn't know if he was in the country or not.
Well,
but I'm telling you now that we are aware of the word called sponsor, right? We have sponsors.
All right.
We have masterminds.
Okay.
We have those that orchestrate action, course of action, right? And when a set of youth are chanting and saying with so much confidence, with so much fanatical proclivity, that if this person is not involved, if I start to look into detailed causes of this event, and you want to tell me it's a political witch hunt?
All right.
Where there are established cases of destruction.
All right.
Go to Equator, you see the secretariat burnt. Go to MO and other edges, secretariat burnt, because they couldn't resist those the attackers. Those.
Right. Very well. Wait,
question?
hold on. Before you will have your say, but I need to ask you questions based on a lot of things you have said, particularly when you talked about witch hunts. One of the videos that went viral as well, the Ikwerre local government chairman, Israel Abosi, was captured driving in with his own people, local government secretariat. He came down and stood on top of the vehicle that brought him, and they addressed and they chanted as well. They had their own chants as well. Now that's on one hand. You mentioned witch hunt. You have not spoken about the actions of the people of Brengopa, the LML local government chairman, as well.
What did they do?
And his boys.
What did they
as
do?
well. Hold on. Now, moving forward, let us look at the River State Assembly complex was bombed. And the governor, in response, demolished the complex and said he was going to rebuild it. Edison here, Okojumbo, Victor Okojumbo, Sokari Goodboy, and one other were accused of arson of the River State House of Assembly complex by the River State House of Assembly, and they were suspended. That was the reason for that. They were suspended based on that. And that was a legislative arm of the state. The governor never held a panel of inquiry up until date to investigate what actually happened to date. Now, let's move forward to, I think that should be June, the day the outgone local government chairman, the day their day expired.
Yeah.
You recall that before that day, the River State House of Assembly had extended the tenure of this chairman by 6 months. And this chairman came out to say that they will not vacate the office because their tenures have been extended. And one, as Abuja came out, video, he called on the government of River State to sponsor him. That he's waiting for them to sponsor him and his boys, that they will remove them. And on the said day, Olawin Godwin, you recall what happened in River State. A police officer died in the fracas that followed. People died in the fracas that followed. And in fact, the event was so disastrous that the IGP of police had to immediately order the River State Police Command to take over all the LGAs and seal it until election is duly conducted. Lives were lost. Properties were also destroyed as well. And the governor never called a commission. A panel of inquiry was never set up. Lives were lost. Does it mean that properties, in this instance, has more value than the life of a Rivers man in the eyes of the governor? Moving forward, I am bringing up this because I want you to marry them when you're looking at political witch hunt or not political witch hunt, because we are looking at all angles. Moving forward, when this local government arson happened, I recall that when the governor visited the Ikwere local government chairman, while he was addressing the people and the press, the governor said that he is sure that his people are not guilty of the arson. He said that.
Okay.
So if he, with his own words,
okay,
he has absolved his people and said that his people are not guilty, it would be safe to assume that he has set up a panel of inquiry to winch on the people who are not his people, who the governor has already judged and assumed are guilty. That's on one hand. Still talking on the governor's statements in face of this crisis. When the outgone chairman, on that day in June, there was crisis and all of that. And as Abuja came out with his boys, also with the boys of whoever, and there was fracas and lives were lost. When the governor was having a press conference, the governor said to the world that he heard that the police, the security agencies are planning to arrest his people, that the police will go through him before arresting one person, that the police will have to go through him to arrest, I mean, it's on record, that the police will have to go through him to arrest one of these persons. These were the statements of the governor. And in that incident, when he was daring the police to arrest anybody that was from his side, he never set up a panel of inquiry. River State House of Assembly complex, the governor never set up a panel of inquiry. Instead, that complex was demolished, thereby demolishing evidences that if there is to be investigation, at least they work with evidence. But by that demolition, hold on, Olori, you have your say. I am not here to pity pata, or I don't know how to be diplomatic when it comes to politics, because I am after governance and doing the right thing. So when persons are raising concerns of winch hunt and no winch hunt, one would expect that with the same vigor that the governor set up a panel of inquiry for this local government arson, the governor will also set up a panel of inquiry for the River State House of Assembly complex and for the death and the fracas and the violence that happened at the expiration of the tenure of the outgone local government chairman. Can you marry the winch hunt and the actions of the governor and this panel of inquiry? After you're done, Emmy, you will not.
I want to say categorically that the issue of the explosion that rocked the River State House of Assembly complex and the issue of the local government chairman trying to perpetuate themselves in office after their constitutionally expired tenure, and whatever arose from these two incidents, I want to actually say that it doesn't really relate to the arson that rocked River State and some edge secretaries on October 7th, because you are aware that the incidents are very separate. They are not mutually, I think they are mutually exclusive. Because if River State Assembly was actually bombed, like you said, and the governor feels that the structure has to be demolished, of course, it has to be demolished to erect another befitting one. And up till now, you cannot say that we know those, or it's on tape. There are evidence as to those, or we can ascertain those who actually perpetrated such acts on the assembly quarters. Now let's come to the incident or the crisis that erupted as regarding the tenure allocation of the chairman and how they were actually profited from taking over from remaining in government. I don't know if you will tell me that if President Tinubu's tenure expires, let's say after 8 years, you will tell me that the Senate has right to ask the president to continue for another 6 months.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
Against the Constitution.
They do.
Yes,
It's not
Against the Constitution.
No, it's not.
It's not against the Constitution.
I'm asking, that is it constitutional?
Yes, it is.
It is constitutional.
Yes.
But is it in the Constitution?
It is in the Constitution.
So are you telling me now that this supposed 8-year tenure that is being spelled out, that is being defined in the Constitution now will be set aside? Are you telling me that?
Can I come in?
I'm asking, are you telling me that? Are you telling me that?
It is constitutional.
So the tenure of the local government chairman had elapsed, and it behoves them to vacate office after the expiration of their tenure. In the first place, the purported tenure allegation by the assembly you're talking about wasn't supposed to come because those assembly members do not have the legitimacy. They don't have the legitimacy to make such laws because they are no longer assembly members. They don't assembly members because their seats have been vacated before that time. So as a matter of fact, right now we have duly elected and sworn in local government chairman. So the issue of tenure allegation doesn't really apply anymore. We are facing critically the arson on some LGA secretariats on October 7th in Rivers State, which element where I happen to come from was also a victim by the boys, which we are very aware, we saw them, by the boys whom never had any cause they did no cause for remorse. They weren't apologetic, they weren't even sober. They went out causing this dastardly this wanton destruction of government facilities, of element secretariat. And the government, the Rivers State government, has a right to setting up panel of inquiry, because we cannot continue encouraging such violence, such unfounded, unwarranted violence. So it is about time the society calls for some level of decency, such that those who are found culpable should be apprehended. Those who are guilty of it should face the full wrath of the law, so as to deter others from engaging in such future occurrences or future acts. So I do not see anything wrong with that panel of inquiry. And to say that the governor did not set up a panel of inquiry during the assembly quarters that were burned, or the violence that erupted during the tenure expiration of the past local government chairman, the governor has the right to set up panels when he deems necessary. So that he did not set up panels at that time, and he set up this one doesn't mean that one has been completely wished away, or that cannot be said. But the government, you can't do everything at the same time, and that is the point. That's the fact. So I do not see where somebody should fault this panel of inquiry. If you fault that panel of inquiry, then it means you are inadvertently encouraging and supporting continuous violence and destruction of public facilities.
All right, Amy, you wanted to say something before. I will read that. I will tell you what even the Supreme Court said in this local government autonomy. In fact, let me even tell you.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Let me just
what the Supreme Court said with respect to National Assembly or state houses of assembly extending the tenure of the president or of the local government chairman. When the Supreme Court was giving judgments on, I think, July 11, on the local government autonomy, July 11, 2024, on the local government autonomy, the Supreme Court said in his verdict, he said that the National Assembly can extend the tenure of a president if it becomes impracticable or impossible to conduct an election. He said, the Supreme Court went further to say, in the same vein, the state houses of assembly can extend, not within a period more than 6 months, which means the state houses of assembly can extend the tenure of local government chairman for 6 months if it becomes impracticable or impossible. No, hold on. Before he said for any reason. Hold on, let me correct it. He said, in the same vein, the state houses of assembly can extend the tenure of local government chairman for 6 months for any reason if it becomes impracticable or impossible to conduct local government elections. It further went to say in his judgment, he said that the extension of the tenure of the local government chairman is the extension of the mandates of the people that elected them. But they said, but if the tenure of the local government chairman is truncated, which is the norm now, I'm quoting Supreme Court actually, I think I've mentioned that so much that it's literally in my head, which is the norm now, it is now, Emmy, you can have your say.
You see, before I begin, my friend here, Godwin, do you know if I'm so desperate to smear your name, do you know I can go commit a crime and go to the public and be chanting your name? Do you know I can do that?
When you do that, are you? Do you think you will be exonerated? You that is because of
fine. Now,
and you think you'll be exonerated?
Fine. This is it. Now, it therefore means that at that point you are assumed innocent. You are not guilty as the governor posited that his men are not guilty, while some people have been presumed to be guilty. And the panel of inquiry I'm coming is meant to achieve a particular purpose.
We cannot.
Now, what do I mean?
Hold on, Emmy, hold on. Olonwi,
yes.
Kindly don't interject, because this is his time and we are almost out of time. You don't interject him.
Okay.
Emmy, you have the mic. Go ahead.
So now, the thing now is, the panel of inquiry was meant or is meant to find a certain fact. And the Constitution, Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution says, the primary purpose of government is the welfare and the security of the people. It didn't say some life or some property are better than some other property. An event took place that has to do with the destruction of the building of an arm of government, right? No panel of inquiry, nothing happened. In fact, there was no issue about that. It was okay. But when another property at the local government level was seen, maybe presumably or allegedly is destroyed, then a panel of inquiry now came and certain names are mentioned to come and testify just because a name was mentioned. You see, if we are living in a constitutional democracy, I always advocate that we must submit our actions to the rule of the law. An assembly who sat like the provision of the 1999 Constitution, Section 91, that set up what an assembly is and what should make up a members of assembly, that says it should not be less than 24 and not more than 40 as enshrined in the law. Then Section 92 then stipulate how a speaker can emerge a speaker of a state of assembly, which Honorable Eddie Sehi and they participated in electing Amir Hule, right? And people are trying to misconstrue and try to misinform people to ensure that certain agenda is established in the minds of the people. And people like me will not allow that to thrive. Why do I say so? The day Eddie Sehi declared himself a speaker was on the 30th of October, 2023, right? That was the day he was suspended, and that was the day the House sat and assembly sat, and there was no faction. There was no issue of defection. All of them were in PDP. The issue of defection took place at about 42 days later. That was on the 11th, alleged defection took place on the 11th of December 2023, 42 days after. So how did you become a speaker that you now have the effort, the powers to declare a seat of somebody vacant? where you are not even a speaker. You didn't even make up the requirement to form a quorum to engage in certain discussion that has to do with the assembly. So how do you declare somebody's seat a vacant? You don't have such a power. So all these were all shenanigans. And if the law says an assembly is a power to make law for the good governance of the state, and the assembly simply exercise that power by extending the tenure of some, I think the right way to have done that was to approach the court, and then went to court. And the state high court said they have quashed that law, that they don't have power to do so. Fine. The next thing was supposed to be an appeal. It's the same thing that applies to the alleged defection. You said the people had defected. You went to court. You are in court to challenging that they have defected. The court should declare their seat vacant. And the same you is actually executing whatever that you are asking the court to do already. To the extent that the governor will say, I don't recognize them, I will not recognize them. Do you have the power to recognize or to de-recognize anybody? They were elected at the mandate of the people. So if you are so dissatisfied, you felt that, yes, the assembly has declared their forum to affirm whatever you are thinking, but you couldn't wait. You are executing your mind. You will say they are seat vacant now. You taking budget to 3 man. You do whatever, move assembly sitting to government house in order to shut elected members of Rivers State Assembly out. Is that how to govern the state? So for me, I think when I use the word political witch hunt, you set up a kind of a panel of inquiry for a nefarious political reasons. I know what I was trying to say, because there are facts, there are things that to be stated that point out to that fact. So I don't see any reasons why you would try to, make some people guilty even before you ask them for their own opinion or whatever.